the reception from the audience was really good, and it was like a huge eye-opener of like really confirming that, oh, okay, we can actually create something that people really want to watch no matter who's playing.
Hey everyone, this is Darius from the Shotcaller. I'm sitting here with Deficio, part of the crew of the craziest league in the whole world, it seems right now.
Definitely true for now.
So yeah, we've seen Splice just dismantle Giants and
Predicted.
As predicted, of course. Should we just talk about this? So you are the predictions king.
For now, I can still lose, by the way.
To Amazing, he's really up your heels.
And fun fact, on this day, we're going to game 2 at the moment. Amazing and myself, we have 2 different games. So I'm only 1 prediction ahead of him.
Okay.
If Rocket ends up beating H2K, playing at the moment, and G2 beats Vitality later, Amazing will win the prediction game, and I will lose. So we will see what happens by the time this probably comes out. We will all know. Hopefully I won, but...
Since you're a man known for his bets with players and other people, do you have a bet with Amazing as well about who wins predictions?
No. I actually don't know if Riot have anything in mind for whoever wins it, seeing as they've been hyping it up now and we've been following it. So I hope there is some sort of prize, but I don't know.
Because you're hot for it for sure. Now, that said, when I talked to Quickshot, he was very adamant about the fact that you're constantly reminding the crew that you're very much ahead of everyone.
Not true at all.
Not true at all.
No, I don't talk about it, but then randomly tweets pop out from LoL Esports about it, and I mean, what can I do? I like it. I maybe show it to 1 or 2 people, but I don't feel like I constantly talk about it. Okay. They try and constantly tell me that I'm lucky, so that's how we keep getting into the prediction talk all the time. And so I actually blame Quickshot.
You win that one all the time.
The numbers don't lie.
But for someone that predicts so many upsets as well, with the H2K game yesterday as an example, how come you've been losing the bets with the players on the Euphoria podcast?
One, I always have to go against the player no matter what, obviously.
True.
I was lucky with the H2K G2 one with Jankos. I definitely thought that one was lost from the get-go. But then I kind of looked at G2 as well, and I was like, man, these guys are going downhill. There's actually a chance. I didn't 100% believe it, but I thought there was a chance that H2K did actually beat them. But I think I am tied when it comes to my bets against the players.
It's just been recent weeks that happened.
Yes, lately I've been losing a lot. I lost to Gilius, I lost to Reckless, I lost to Kasing, so it's been very, very bad, but I started out really well, but it's going downhill, sadly for me. So we also had guests from very good teams, I guess, which is maybe one of the reasons I'm losing.
And to be fair, I feel like, you know, the fulfillment of the bets that you had to do have been less extra than, for example, what Jankos had to do in the video.
Because the way it works is basically we tell the player, like when we're sitting on the podcast, what do you want me to do? Yeah. And pro players are not always too creative, which means they have to just come up with something quickly on the fly. And the easy one is always to tweet, so that's what they suggest. And I'm just like, okay, no problem. And we try and spend a little bit more time figuring out, okay, what could they potentially do in case they lose? So we get a little bit more advanced for them if they lose.
How many times have you watched the Jankos video?
Probably at least 10 times. And I've been trying to retweet it a few times as well, multiple days. Yeah, that is actually my favorite response to losing a bet ever in the ULCS.
It's really amazing. It's actually perfectly...
yep, it's so well done. Like, it's insane. He was like, no, it's going to be poor quality. I'm like, no, it's probably going to be great. And it's actually really well made, so I'm very impressed.
Very nice. Now, let's talk a bit about the ULCS casting situation. Since you and Quickshot have been the consistent forces of the ULCS for a long time, but we've seen new people join in. Medic is now a very consistent member of the team. Vedi is as well. And we've seen people like Amazing, you know, join the cast all of a sudden. What do you think has significantly changed in the way that the ULCS cast has functioned within the recent years?
So we have first of all gotten a lot of personalities in who are by no means afraid to do something extra for the show. You know, you have all these Medic intros and, you know, all these segments with him. You know, you have someone like Amazing who is very opinionated about a lot of things, and he's not afraid of, like, you know, banter and you know, putting himself out there. So we've gotten a lot of different personalities who can actually do something unique. And I think that makes a lot of the show a lot more fun to watch because you don't know exactly what's going to happen, and we constantly can try to innovate and do something different. I think the recent example of the Medic's little doctor thing he did was like cool. I had no idea that was happening. It just kind of boom, suddenly it's there. And these kind of things will help spice up everything around the show and just make it more fun to follow. Also not just on a show day, but actually between the show days, because there will be podcasts and these different content pieces and so on. So I think that has been a big change. Second thing I also feel like is we've been lucky, obviously, with the recruiting some really good people lately, because we had this period where we kind of struggled to find the right people, because we were constantly looking for casters, and we had some really good people back in 2014, 15 still on the show, but we wanted to get like 1 or 2 extra guys, and we just couldn't find the right ones. We kept looking, and then we eventually got now people like Medic to join us, Dracos, amazing, Vedius, of course. So that has really helped our situation. I also just, I like that the approach I had to casting a few years ago was that everything has to be like super game focused, and it has to be like, if you don't always analyze the game, it's bad. I think it may be limited when I was looking at potential recruits of which people I thought would be good enough to join. Trevor and the producers and my other great colleagues really hammering into my head that maybe there are other things that we can look for, especially in color casters, and that's not the only thing that is important. Also help kind of allow a lot of different people to be part of the broadcast and do a fantastic job.
And I think even for yourself, that has somewhat applied in recent years.
Very changed.
The Origin series, I always vividly remember that one. The Origin versus Rocket, of course, last year, where you and Quickshot, at the end of the day, just had fun, and because there wasn't that much to analyze.
That was actually a turning point in how Trevor and myself looked at casting and different kind of games, because you go into that series being like, all right, this is going to be long, no one's going to watch, it's going to be bad, this is not going to be great. But we just we try to be ourselves and just have fun with it. And the reception from the audience was really good. And it was like a huge eye-opener of like really confirming that, okay, we can actually create something that people really want to watch no matter who's playing. It actually helped the fact that the game were so bad that it just became the fun part of it as well. Yeah. And I think it kind of helped shape a little bit of like the next few splits of how to approach the broadcast in different games. And it didn't always have to be serious or anything. Like we could open up more. And it's just kind of snowballed into a lot of different things now, which I hope people will keep enjoying because we have a lot of fun with it.
I'm pretty sure they do. Now, let's talk a bit about your days, not necessarily as a player, but how the player scene has evolved overall, because you're one of the few people that are now working as a caster and have been a player formerly, of course, amazing, being a more recent example. But, from judging from your time at Copenhagen and stuff, from now, are you impressed and sometimes even a bit resentful to see, oh man, if only I would be playing right now, because all those NA salaries and stuff are popping up all of a sudden?
No, not at all. When I started playing, it was very much with the goal of finding another job in esports as quickly as possible. I was never like super excited to be a pro player. I loved it in the moment, of course, but it was never my goal. And I knew the moment I had a chance to move on to something else, I would do that. So when the opportunity presented itself, like after season 3, when Björksen went to TSM, I was kind of like, you know what? This is a good moment for me to then take that step back. My best friend at the moment is leaving me. He's going to America. And then, I could become a manager very quickly and then a caster right after. So that was kind of natural. And I never looked back, not even in season 4, and said, if I just kept playing, I could have been on that stage. Or it could have been so great, because I never even felt like I was that good. I was just kind of there. I was part of a team. It got me a lot of time to practice being on camera and kind of learning about the game on a pro level and kind of evolve with it. So it taught me a lot of good things that I could use later as a caster, but it was always just a matter of time before I would move on. So I am very happy with my decision. Okay. I definitely look back at 2014 and my conversations with Riot early on about becoming a caster, when at first I was kind of like, I'm not sure, I've never really casted anything. Language, I kind of want to do this thing over here with NIP, and they were like, consider this. And I was like, at first I turned them down. I was like, nope. A month later, I was like, okay, I should probably like consider this because this could be a really big deal. I had some really good chats with like D-Man and Quick Shots back then. And I was kind of like, okay, let's give it a try. And giving it a try, you know, jumping on that stage week 1 of 2014, despite all the flame, was probably the best decision I've made in my life. So I'm very happy with that. And it led me to where we are today.
And I think many more people are very happy about that decision. What would you recommend to people, you know, who have to show themselves for the first time on the ULCS cast? Because we've seen a lot of new faces now with the split. Given that you've received your decent share of flame back then.
Step 1, the boring one: prepare. Like seriously, come in over prepared. Because if, let's say, you're coming in as a guest analyst, you could have spent the entire week just preparing 2 to 3 big points on each team. And that's enough for you to stand up, you know, on air and deliver some really thought out points that make you sound super smart. And that's all people see. They don't need to see the 2 hours before that where you're practicing saying it. They just see it when you do it in the moment, and that's the important one. So that always will be my number 1 thing. Number 2 is try to be yourself, which of course is sometimes hard because you're nervous and you kind of want to fit into the show. But I think the community have really shown that they like when someone are not afraid of like doing their own thing and don't just be super generic. I think we've seen this now with the ULCS where we have all these different personalities, that is the style people want. Third, see, now I trap myself by saying third, and then I have a third one. So I'll steal one from Trevor.
Just those 2.
I'll steal Trevor's main advice, which is don't be shit. That's definitely going to be the last one.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like perfectly valid advice, really.
It feels like if you're just never bad at anything, life is going to be great. Sadly, we're all bad at something, but hey, don't be shit.
You know, there are some 200 IQ plays we sometimes see in EU and LCK, and this is a 200 IQ metaphor, like I'm saying right there. Yep, I'm gonna put that on like a really nice background.
Don't be shit.
Big brain quotes.
Remember to quote it from Quickshot. I stole it from him.
Okay.
I gave him credit now.
Credited, very nice. Now, I'm guessing you're really excited about Copenhagen.
I am. I've been trying to convince Riot for 4 years that we should go. They've always said, yeah, we definitely want to go to Copenhagen, but not right now. And I was like, oh, okay, but maybe next time. And then when they told us we're going to Copenhagen, Royal Arena, which is a super cool arena as well in Copenhagen, I was just like, okay, this is cool. And you just walk around smiling. You don't know what else to do. You just smile. You're like, yes, this is it. We get a chance. And exactly. And the awesome thing was, shortly after we were told, there was the Blast Pro Series, the CSGO tournament in Royal Arena, and I got to attend that one and just kind of feel the insane atmosphere and see how awesome it was in there with the Danish esports fans. So I was like immediately being like, okay, cool, we just copy that, put it over here with League of Legends, and then we fill it up again and we just do the same thing and everyone's gonna love it. So we already got to see how cool it can be. Yeah. I hope we can make it even cooler when we're there because I already know that we're going to have some Danish players in the final because there's a bunch of them
100%.
And that they are on a lot of the top teams. So that's going to be awesome. Also, like fan favorite Fnatic, high chance with the way they're playing at the moment. They could go all the way. That would be a sick story. They haven't been in a final in 2 years.
True.
So that would be amazing. 2 Danes on it as well. But I think almost no matter who makes the final with this current split, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be fairly close because teams keep beating each other left and right. And we don't really have any of the top teams playing like super slow or boring. There's actually a lot of stuff happening in the games. So I am super excited for playoffs. I'm even more excited for Copenhagen, especially the final. I think it's going to be insane. And I actually hope that every single Danish esports fan will show up, because it's not just about enjoying League of Legends, it's about showing how big esports is in the Nordics and especially in Denmark. There's going to be a lot of press and everything, and I really just want everyone to show up and really, prove that this is one of the esports regions or esports countries where we produce so many great players and so many great fans.
Absolutely correct there. Now, given that, okay, so last year, Spring Split, we had the finals in Hamburg. Yep. That was fun. We had them in summer in Paris, and that was insane because French fans are...
They are fantastic.
They are fantastic. They really tore down that arena with their voices. What can we expect from the Danish fans specifically? Lots of noise, lots of banners, lots of cosplay?
A little bit of everything. They are very good at cheering for the Danes, first of all.
Okay.
But when I got to watch, other esports events in Denmark, they generally they cheer for like exciting games, which I think most fans will do. But they are loud. They can be very, very loud. I think there'll be a lot of, the big wave going around as well. People are definitely gonna enjoy a little bit of sausage and a little bit of that one as well. So I think we can see a pretty hyped crowd, and as long as the games deliver, the crowd will for sure deliver as well.
Sounds really amazing. I'm really excited for Copenhagen. Make sure to still book your tickets. I'm pretty sure there are still some available, maybe?
Yeah, I think for the final, there's still some. So you got to probably get them pretty fast. Third place as well. Obviously, the final is the one that looks to be the most hyped one. That doesn't mean you shouldn't show up for the third place.
I was going to say Vitality versus Splice in the best of 5. That sounds like a fun game.
If you think that's what's going to be, I think you can also be G2 in that third place. Maybe, yeah. It can be Rockout, who knows? I just generally think be there, enjoy the event, and show that Denmark are the greatest nation in the world. Or one of them.
Definitely a very beautiful city, though, Copenhagen, with all the colors.
Yeah, definitely book a week or something. Have a lot of money ready, because it's very expensive in Copenhagen, but it is a nice city.
It's worth. #worth, for sure. Is there anything you would like to say to the EULCS and the Danish fans out there, of course?
Man, I always hate that question. I always want to do what Elimination does, and he just goes like, no. But I feel like I have to say something, right?
Maybe say something in Danish.
I will first say something to the EULCS fans, not in Danish. Thank you for all the very positive comments around the EULCS this split. It's been very fun to see. I'm glad people enjoy it, because we do have some awesome teams, and even when we lose a few to North America, it doesn't matter. We just get 10 new players who we can become fans of. So that's really awesome. And we're doing a lot of new things with the broadcast that seems to really work. So very happy, very glad to hear the positive feedback. Keep being critical if needed. For the Danish fans, please be awesome in Copenhagen. Show that we can have a fantastic event and prove that Danish esports is the way to go.
Well, I think that's a perfect way the perfect note to end the interview on. This was Deficio and Darius from the Shotcaller. Hope you had a good day. See you then. Hey everyone, this is Darius from the Shotcaller, and I hope you just enjoyed that interview. This is a generic end card, so make sure to click here for another interview, or here for a different interview. And if you want to check out more content, specifically from the NALCS, make sure to visit theshotcaller.net for more interviews and other esports content. Have a good day.